Hello everybody, this is Mr. E from Art with Mr. E, and today we are looking at Crafter Square Tempera Watercolors. Now, I saw this at Dollar Tree last night, and I was like, what is a tempera watercolor? I've not really heard that before. I am guessing it could be like a gouache. I don't know. So I thought for $1, it's worth the risk of trying it out. So it comes in red, yellow, blue, and I'm assuming this is white. It has gray splotches on it, but you can't really do white splotches now, can you? And then black. So I thought, let's give it a try. So we'll open this up. It looks like a standard kind of watercolor tube. Here, we'll put this under here so we can remember exactly what it is. Tempera watercolor. Alright. So, tube. Now, on the actual tube, it says tempera paint. Now, I did not notice that when I bought it. So we'll put a little black out. Blue. I don't know if you guys ever get curious like I do when it comes to things like this. Especially at a place like Dollar Tree. I'm always curious. I'm like, I wonder what that product is like. Now it's kind of hard to tell right now from the consistency of squeezing it out, because I've had watercolors that kind of squeeze out like this, I've had gouache that squeezes out like this, and I've had tempera paint that squeezes out like that. Although a lot of my tempera paints are a little bit runnier. So I thought we will try these out and see how they go. Alright, let's start with yellow. Now, painting with it, it does not necessarily feel like a tempera. It does feel more like a watercolor. I have a fairly textured piece of paper. Color's really pretty, nice and bright. Rinse my brush out. We'll go to the red. Let's see how they blend. Not too bad. Not great, but not too bad. I mean, I keep in mind this is $1. So with the blue, it does start to transition into a green. Take a little bit more of the blue. It's actually Not a terrible purple. Leans towards that kind of eggplant type color of purple, but not bad. Just go a smidge of black. And we'll see how white does. Let's mix it into the red. I mean, that does work. It does tint it a little bit. The white does not seem as powerful though. Let's make a mark on our paper and see how it paints over top of it. If you have a really good quality watercolor, which of course, like I said, this is Dollar Tree, I'm not necessarily expecting that, but if you have a good quality watercolor, when you paint over a line, you should see it. It should be a transparent. So we will try. If it leaves a lot of residue, it's not as good of a quality because the paint has a lot of filler in it. So you can kind of see that film over top of it. So these are our results. The red and blue, you see some. It's not as bad as yellow. I kind of suspect that the yellow has a little bit more filler in it, just so that you get, I don't know, a stronger color. Yellow is one of those tough colors because it's such a bright, light color. I don't know. I don't want to make excuses for it. They all do have a film that goes over top of it. I don't necessarily think it is as thick of a film as a gouache would be, and definitely not as thick of a film as I would expect a tempera to be. All right. I'm going to go ahead and mix up some of my colors since we have them out. We're playing. I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow, or a lot of my yellow, some of my blue, and mix up a green. It's kind of a pretty green. I did add a lot of yellow. I still don't feel like this has got a ton of color payout. You know, it's Dollar Tree. But my good quality watercolors I have, the pigment is so strong. So I'm mixing up a purple here. Purple is one of those weird colors if you're not a painter. Based on the type of red that you have, based on the type of blue you have, the purple can be more towards a brown, because some reds, to counteract pink, they almost have like orange in it. And so, of course, if you mix orange and blue, you're going to get a brownish color. It's kind of pretty on the plate. Let's see what it does on our paper. Ooh, I like that. Not super strong pigment, but it's a lovely color. I like that. Here, let me tell you, we're getting a lot of light reflection. There is a little bit of a milkiness, creaminess to the paint. I don't know if you can tell that, but I kind of feel that it's probably the fillers that they use to suspend the pigment in. That's a pretty orange. So the colors do mix really nicely. This is going to be a great paint for some young artists, definitely. I don't know if I'd really add it to my arsenal of paint. But, I mean, the quality is not horrible. You do get some transparency to it, not as much as a good quality watercolor or a liquid watercolor. But the colors are nice. They're easy to mix. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. For $1, that's not bad, guys. I think it's worth it for some people that might be dabbling in watercolor. If you want to do it more of like a crafting kind of thing and not looking at doing professional type work, because I don't know the light fastness of these paints. Some paints that are cheaper made will fade faster in fluorescent lighting or natural lighting. So I don't know about that. But yeah, for $1, they're pretty cool. And I will say that I do think when it says a Tempera watercolor, maybe they're just trying to get around having all those fillers in the paint. Because there is a lot of residue that you can see over the black line. But super fun. I'm glad I tried them. And now you know. Tempera watercolors at Dollar Tree. Have a good day. Bye now.